don't get to thinking that at anything against anybody other than beginners that you're gonna ever get this, okay? If I let you do this to me, you know, if Jean-Marc let me do this to him, I'd be like, dude, purple belt, really? Like, I'd be pretty upset. I don't expect for that to occur. So we're gonna start with the DelaRiva guard here and the grip here, and if I can make it happen from here, great. That's going to be our first sweep. This is our attack point. Now, you know, by attack point, I simply mean that I've created enough of an angle, so don't try to do it from here because he's too squared up. Notice he pointed his knee out already. My DelaRiva hook is stripped. He's in good base. We attack this when we have a bit of an angle and we're able to step on the hip. And when I say step on the hip, that's an important distinction because, again, I do not expect to be able to hang out here in the DelaRiva guard because he's, again, not stupid, he's gonna do that, right? So a lot of times you're gonna be controlling the DelaRiva guard, like, you know, here, pushing, stepping on the mat, and just kind of moving him around. All right, then you can go. The second I get my foot on the hip, I attack this sweep. And it is the term that we use for it, we call this the shotgun sweep, because it is like firing a gun. You pull the trigger, you go, that's it. It's not like I'm here, and I grip, and I move behind, and berimbolo you. Yeah, we're also not going to be doing berimbolo. All right, so, but sorry, it does for white belts. If you're a white belt or even a blue belt and you're trying to berimbolo people, man, you are missing the point. Berimbolo is a very good technique at the higher level when you understand control and everything. You're trying to spam berimbolo with a white belt, I'm sorry, like your jiu-jitsu is going to be terrible for a while. All right, so I get my foot on the hip, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to load my weight up on that foot. So almost like I'm stepping on a ladder to go up, and I'm going to wind my hip and my knee up. All right. Usually we have a few preparatory motions from this. For today, just for the sake of economy, we're going to try to get right to it. My hip comes up, but not away. Notice my butt is almost touching his knee. One of the things that you'll see whenever you try to get from a regular DelaRiva hook to what's called a deep DelaRiva hook, I'm sure you've seen, if you've tried to do anything like this before, that it's really tough to get that foot there unless you're, again, super flexible. So this is a way of solving that problem, and not just this problem, by the way, but any problem in jiu-jitsu where you can't get your foot somewhere is solved by hip movement. It's not solved by being this guy. All right? If you're being this guy, you're doing it wrong. You're putting your knee at a weird angle, you're abusing hip flexibility, and you can severely injure yourself if you're using weird dexterity to put your foot somewhere. Like for instance, come down into my close grab, please. If I tried to armbar you by doing this, pretty stupid, right? Yeah. But if I get my hip angle, yeah, I'm good. So it's the same thing with the DelaRiva guard. If I'm trying to use weird Gumby flexibility to get there, I'm doing it wrong. Come back up, please. Thanks. All right, I'm gonna load my weight up, keeping my butt close, and my weight's gonna shift a little bit onto my left knee. See how it's kind of tipping you a little bit? Mm-hmm. As it does, I'm gonna shoot the deep DelaRiva hook. So my bottom leg, my left leg, all the way to here. So I'll do the movement once, just the whole sweep, and then I'll kind of explain the details. This will go one of two ways. You're either going to take the person onto their face or onto their back. Kind of depends on them. So one is that way. The other one is more this way. All right? If you do it correctly, both methods should end up in the mount. Sometimes you'll end up getting the back. So we'll go over the details on that in a minute. I've got a hook, I've got a frame, I've got good distance management. I have a dominant angle, so I'm ready to attack. I step on the hip, I elevate my butt, and I wind my leg up. The reason it's called the shotgun sweep is click, click, boom, down it goes. All right? That's how it's supposed to work. Depending on whether I pull this way or this way, that's what decides where it goes, and also how I rotate my hips. So if you just try to stay in really good solid base, your body lines up. I'm going to try to like freeze in the position. There we go. So when I'm here, if I keep twisting my hips this way and I pull down, he'll go back. If when I get loaded up, I start twisting my hips back this way, he'll go towards his face and have to roll over.
Is there a benefit or downside to either or?
No. The deciding factor actually is him. They both will end up relatively the same way. Either you'll mount the person, and to be honest with you, if you take them to their back this way, you usually will more likely end up mounting unless you know how to berimbolo from here, in which case you could plug that movement in, right? So for instance, I can't believe I'm actually gonna do this. If I go like this, and he goes here, you know, I can come here, switch, and attack the back. But by the same token, if I take him to this side and he posts his hand instead of flipping over, I can still attack the back. So mostly, like for instance in my club, we put a really big emphasis on base and not flopping to your back. So a lot of the guys that I roll with, they won't just go over. When I buckle them, they post their hand. And so I can attack the back. And a lot of higher level guys will do that. Again, beyond a certain level, and I usually I describe this by assigning belt rank, but when I say purple belt level, I'm talking about world-class purple belt, because a lot of variety and skill. Guys don't just fall over, and that's another concept that, not that it's a concept, don't fall over, but it kind of is, because in jiu-jitsu we spend so much time playing from our backs that it's a comfort zone for a lot of people. As soon as you're like, oh, I'm a little unstable, nah, okay, I'll play from my butt. So you'll find that a lot of people, until somebody actually tells them, hey dude, maybe you shouldn't just fall over at the sound of somebody clapping their hands. You don't have good base, because even though you might know what base is, you just don't employ it. Like, oh, I'm in a little bit of trouble, go to my back. I'm sure everybody's got that guy in their club that just drops on guillotines all the time whenever they get into trouble, instead of just staying on top and trying to ride it out a little bit. I'm not saying it's wrong to go for a guillotine, but unless you're getting it most of the time, you're fucking up, right? So you'll attack the mount or the back depending on how they react. They might post, they might not, they might roll over, they might not. And frankly, how their knee turns will determine which one you use. So I did not mean to talk so long about that, I apologize. If I get here and his knee, like turn your knee to the left, this knee, that means I pull him that way. If I get here and he opens his knee up, I take him that way. So it's going to require a little bit of sensitivity, as it should, because there's no such thing as a one move for everything. But for people who are not familiar with the move, I'll be honest, most of the time their knee just goes totally sideways. If you're not expecting it and you don't have good base at the DelaRiva guard, the second, especially because of how much, you'll notice the motion, I'm kicking through the back of his knee almost. So most of the time, this sweep turns people onto their face.
Just the point when we're drilling for the guy on top, don't resist that motion.
I was going to say that exact thing, yeah. If you value your MCL, don't beat this guy. You're going to hurt yourself. Just as soon as you feel pressure on your knee, just turn and put your knee to the mat. All right? So one more time through the elements. Good grip, I'm breaking his posture, so I'm closing my elbow to my knee. I'm not allowing him, once he gets too far away, not going to work so right. So I touch, I elevate my hip. If you can pause here for a photo, that would be ideal. Rotate your hip as you reach through the far hip, keeping your feet hooked on. I want to have the ability to pull him to me sometimes. And then I can tilt him over and mute. That kind of crap if I know how. All right? It's a kicking motion. It's not a, I'm going to kind of fiddle my foot in here and maybe it works. It's I wind my hip up and I blast my leg through. All right? And then yank. Who needs to see it again? Yes?
Can you show the climb mount at the end?
Yes. Thank you.
This works ideally with collar grip.
Yes.
Or only with collar.
No, it'll work with a sleeve grip. If I have a sleeve grip, for instance, I can rotate him by using a lever. So it actually works better in a lot of circumstances with the collar grip, simply because if somebody knows enough to post, he can't do it. Like if I go like this and he posts his hand, now I have to know that kind of crap. If I don't, I'm gonna get stuck there. But if I'm controlling the sleeve and I get to here, he can't do anything. He's completely restricted in terms of getting to base. So that's what we're going to get into the different grips. Right now, I'm much more concerned with you just mastering the load up and the kick through motion, and then we'll adjust the grips and how to finish in the mount. The way that you finish, right, let's say I do have this grip, for instance, and I take it this way. I keep control of the lever to his hip, and I keep control of the lever to his shoulder. So that box with 4 posts sticking out of it is under my control until I crawl to the mount. And I still have this, so I can actually start hitting arm locks, etc., etc. There's more people in this room. All right? Does anybody need to see the motion one more time? Let's give it a try.
Yeah, we did.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, so as I said earlier, one of the many things I said earlier, you will mostly pull people to this side if you manage to buckle their knee, yeah? So the most common response here, other than roll, like the more advanced someone is, honestly, especially like when I demonstrate this, the guys who've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while or like judo or anything, they just roll. Like they feel themselves going, I'll just roll over. Which is, you know, for demonstration purposes is great, but more likely, he's gonna post his hand. Like when I go like this, I bring him this way, he's more likely to post the hand here than anything else. Because especially if you come back a second, especially in a tournament context, you know, like in the gym, you're more likely to roll over. In a tournament, you're gonna put your hand down, especially if you've been competing for a while because you don't want to give up 2 points. Thank you, Dad. So, how long does it take? If I'm Brazilian, it's 1 second. If I'm white, 4 seconds. Okay, that's fine again. So, because I know that, and jiu-jitsu basically is action and reaction. If I can predict your action, then I can have a very quick reaction. So, when I get here and I pull and he posts his hand, I'm immediately going to try to, remember those feet that we had hooked on this side? I'm going to try to pull him to me and just take his back. All right? The common reactions from DelaRiva guard when someone posts tend to lead to the back. So, here, I get my grip. And then, by the way, well, I shouldn't even do it that way, because if he starts here, am I going to get this grip? No. Come on, that's ridiculous. So, come on. There. See that step on? Yeah, if I can't reach, I step on the knee, I get my grip. I should have mentioned that before. I'm sorry, I'm occasionally not that good of an instructor. I'm only like the 3rd best in the world. So honest. For those of you that don't know, I was nominated for the instructor of the year and I finished 3rd. I didn't just actually call myself the 3rd best instructor. So once I get my grip, I load up. He posts his hand. As soon as he posts his hand, I bring my knees to me. That should get his weight onto me. And then I kick just a little bit, just so I can rotate my hips. If he posts his hand and his knee touches the floor, so let's assume that I did all that grammar and his knee's here, I'm not going to try to move him. I'm just going to come up, pull him out of base, and attack his back. That is actually the most common scenario, is that I buckle his knee touches right here. This is the most common. He'll have to be on his elbow, on his hand, it totally depends. It does not matter. Let's rotate. This hook here is really important because I control his hips from running away from me. If I'm like this, he can come back to face. So I keep this controlled. See, that keeps it in place. Now, I grab his hip, and this is really important. When I grab the hip, I do not pull him onto my hips because I'm pulling him into a guard pass. This is crucial when you attack the back. Which, by the way, we'll be doing tomorrow in another very informative seminar. It's crucial that you pull your opponent out of base before you try to take the back. So I'm going to end up here with my hook. I'm going to grab the hip, scoop my hip away, get my seatbelt, put my hooks in. All right? Who needs to see it again? You want me to do it on someone so you can watch? Or
No, I just want to, I like the,
all right,
you go down, yeah.
So I push, I get my grip, he comes down, I come back, so you're not going to fall on your knee right now.
Okay.
I come back,
Oh, yeah.
I reset, I fire the shotgun, your knee touches the floor, I grab your hip, I scoot away, I've already got one hook.
And the first variation once again?
First variation
Where I don't go down
is
right.
when if he doesn't go to the knee,
Yeah.
is just close with his hand. I'm going to pull my knees to me, kick, and deposit him on the ground. I can go to mount or I can go to the back with that movement. So you're just going to go like this. 1, 2. If the guy's knee is in the air, if the knee touches the ground, we grab the hip, we pull the hip to the mat, and we secure the seatbelt. Cool? What he was doing is awesome play by play. The sleeve is not the arm. Whoa. The belt is not the hip. This gives me precisely 0.00% control of your hip. All right, so if I start pulling, the belt's gonna rotate. We reach up and we grab the hip bone right there. If you want to grab the pants, although the pants are not the hip either, great. See, this still allows me some rotational control. This allows me none. This is only good for pulling backwards and forwards. The belt grip is no use for rotating someone's hip. All right? In the frame, I need to turn it into a lever. I can't fight. I'm not going to push up against your bones, right? That's structure. So I'm going to get it right here and turn it into a lever. And especially if I've got my foot on your hip, then it's real easy for me to climb to the omoplata. You can honestly even hit the armbar sometimes. If I get enough rotation here, I can sometimes hit the armbar, but really it's more omoplata from here. See how how much it buckles you?
So that's from killing the hook.
Yeah.
You know that defense that they do?
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll drag. Yeah. Really, that's really good defense. I use it, but that's the vulnerability. That's where, if I'm here and you're pushing down, I'm gonna look to come here.
Can you show the arm drag variation?
That's a nice counter.
Sure. So from here, I'm letting go, pushing, and drag. And from here, if I get on the elbow, now I can actually come into a really solid upper body.
Heck yeah.
Bonus technique.
Thanks, Ron.
Go to grab the hip, and they're just going that way for you're not able to pull. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to deal with this at some point. The answer is just to jump on their back. If he's pulling, you go. Yeah, just jump on the back. Yeah, go. How's everybody feeling with this movement? Does anybody need a few more reps?
Few more.
Yeah, never hesitate to say, one of the absolute worst thing, in my opinion, about learning jiu-jitsu is class is an hour long. 20 minutes of this, 5 minutes of a technique, 5 minutes of another unrelated technique, 5 minutes of something else, and then roll for 45 or 30 minutes, whatever long it is. Are you going to use a single thing that you drilled for 5 goddamn minutes? Come on, man. You got to drill like this. You'll notice that if you go to another 4-hour seminar, you'll learn like a dozen moves. You learn how to control the DelaRiva guard, and you're going to learn 3 sweeps. Maybe you can use 1 or 2 of them. Hopefully by referring back to the YouTube footage, you'll have them all. But I'm hoping that you can use this stuff in class this week, because you've actually got the reps in. So never ever hesitate to just be like, hey man, I need more reps, I need more reps. The only way you get good at this stuff is reps. There's nothing mystical about this. I'm not imparting any, you're not channeling any magic that I'm coming out of my belt that I've never washed because it holds all my power. Wash your belts, guys. That's just retarded. That's awesome. I'm going to come across and plant his head into the mat.
Yeah.
Right? So now, instead of pushing, see how his posture's already broken? I can try to come up now.
So you just keep the shin.
Keep the knee on the ground. If I'm going here, see now, you notice the difference immediately? As soon as I brought my leg in front of your face, posture control is gone. So I want to keep this, and now when I transition to the omoplata, if I bring this leg, see I'm still controlling his posture? And then there's never a point where he can just reef out of it. His posture's controlled the whole way.
I like that.
When you say one or the other.
When they drop their knee?
Yeah.
Or when they just...
When they drop their knee, you scoot your hips away and pull. When their knee is in the air, you pull your knees to you, kick them out, and then you can scoot your hips away and pull. Yeah. Cool. Are there any questions about this position? Yes.
It's more of a nebulous question, but
Sure.
Are you able to give us maybe the easiest or most efficient way to get into the DelaRiva guard to begin with?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually going to cover that, but I might as well do it now. So we'll do it from 2 positions, because really these are the 2 positions that you kind of need. You're either going to do it from like an open guard, kind of, where you're either standing and I'm kind of down. I've chosen to sit guard, or you're going to do it from the closed guard where the guy breaks your guard. Those are the 2 most common. You can even, I'll be honest, You can even do it right from here. Like if you really like the DelaRiva guard, just want to get there, as soon as you get your grip, that's probably the best. Like if you watch the Mendes brothers, they do that all the time, especially Rafa. Guy tends to do more like fake guard, pull ankle pick kind of stuff, but as soon as I get my grip, if I'm right, like which more guys are going to be right leg forward, like this is based on the idea of matching lead, so this would be mirror lead, this is matching lead. If I'm right forward, as soon as I get my grip, that's probably the easiest. And then if you're in my closed guard, same thing, like as soon as you start to stand up, just pushing your hip away and moving into it. As long as I push your hip away. So if you come back down, if you manage to, like let's say you just stand right there, there you go. If I just try to go to DelaRiva, you notice I don't have the angle. I can't, this is where flexible guys do it. Oh, no problem, I'll do that. But if you're a normal human being, it's called you flexible guys abnormal, I'm sorry. Come back down. It's tough to do that. So stand up, foot on the hip, angle, and then DelaRiva guard. Don't try to stick, don't try to Gumby your way into it. Control the distance first, and then insert the hook. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so the next sweep we're gonna do is called the sit-up sweep. This can be done from a couple of different positions, or like related to DelaRiva positions. Like you can actually do this from like a koala style guard, but we're gonna do it from the DelaRiva guard today. So one of the main things, let's say I've got a good grip here, that the guy's gonna be doing again is pushing this down. Very, very common. As soon as somebody puts their hand on your leg and starts pushing it down, you're gonna transfer your grip. So I might have already had this grip. For instance, like I might be here, in which case I just keep it, but generally you're not usually gonna be using that. You're usually gonna have a grip either here or on the collar, mostly on the collar. And as he pushes down, I simply bring my grip to me. Don't resist, don't be like, no, I'm gonna waste a bunch of energy. I don't need to do any of that crap. Most of the time when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're just using way too much energy. Like, how many times have you finished rolling like, man, I need more cardio? No, man, you need to chill the fuck out. You don't need more cardio. If you're remotely fit, like unless you're just way out of shape, you should be able to do a 5-minute round without having an aneurysm. If you're just exhausted, it's because you're doing this all the time. I've got frames, right? My bones don't get tired. Just use your bones. So here, I could have made a really horrible joke. All right, so we switch the grip. Now I'm gonna look to break this grip. Again, I can try to use a lot of muscular force here, and that will never ever work. But if I bring this to me, see how it stretches his arm out, and then I kick out, I'll break that grip really easily, right? So again, we don't use muscular force so much here. I just use the extension of my leg, and that grip should go. Even if he makes a pretty solid pant grip, I should be able to, by bringing this to me first, and notice how I'm stretching him out. I'm compromising his posture. When you compromise posture and structure, people become weaker. When he's close, he's strong. As his arms get stretched out, he is weak, right? So I just allow him to do what he wants to do. He wants to stuff my leg. Okay, dude, no worries. A good sort of heuristic, a good phrase to remember is, in jiu-jitsu, if somebody wants to do something, let them do it. It's much easier to just let him do this and then break the grip than it is to sit here and have a tug of war with somebody. So for this, we're gonna make a cuff grip. It's gonna be stronger. For those of you that want a little bit of extra information about grips, you're gonna get it. For those of you that don't, too fucking bad. Cuff grip is stronger. Pistol grip is easier, but weaker. If you're concerned with developing horrible knuckles, those of you that have ever seen like that picture of one of the Meow brothers with giant ass knuckles, man, that guy's gonna have a hard time wiping his ass when he's 50. You're going to really damage your knuckles if all you ever use is this grip. Because see how it pinches my knuckles together. This does not pinch my knuckles together, but it's weaker. So if you can develop a very grip-based style, you're gonna be vulnerable to like fingered. I wish somebody had told me this when I started in the gi. This might be the most valuable thing for your long-term health that you learn today. Don't overuse this grip. If someone's breaking free, just let go and make another grip. If you again watch high-level guys, grip switch, grip switch, grip switch, grip switch. Not just like, don't keep holding on. So for this I do need a strong grip though. So I am gonna make a cuff grip. So I roll the cuff. I want my knuckles to touch their forearm. If I'm just like this is a much easier grip to break. I want to roll all the way to here. I bring this in and I kick out. My foot's going to come to his knee. I'm going to push him away as I sit up. Now I switch the grip. When I switch the grip, so that all-seeing eye can see. I don't let go and switch. I keep the grip, I make my second grip, then I let go. So I keep my foot on his knee, keeping his posture messed up, keeping his base messed up. I reach through here, I transfer the grip, and I grab his far collar. All right? I'm gonna keep pushing here, and I'm gonna tuck my elbow towards the mat. I'm gonna make him do a face plant. I keep this controlled. If I let go, he can take this leg out and start to play his guard. All right. So I keep this closed. Pull my knee to me. I'm gonna come up on top, driving my shoulder into him, and try to pass the guard right away. If you can sweep into a pass, it's pretty awesome stuff, but don't ever expect it to happen. Good guys will scramble like crazy. And I'll spare you my opinion on what a scramble is. There's no such thing as a scramble, guys. So I didn't spare you my opinion, I just spared you the explanation. Here, grip. Don't grip the near collar, it's not wrong, but I'm not able to rotate him as much as if I grip the far collar. And do keep this foot on his knee the whole time. The best way to do this is to do 4 or 5 of these. So, come back, get really used to sitting up with the foot on the knee, with the foot on the hip. Then make your switch, get your grip, foot on the mat, push, rotate, close the elbow, keep your elbow on the mat here, drive your head in, and finish the pass. Does anybody need to see it again?
Yes.
All right. This angle. So I'm here, I pull, kick the grip free, come up, my foot comes to the mat, I switch, I keep my foot on his knee. Grab the far collar, I extend my leg, putting my foot in base, rotating into the mat. I put my head down, I close my elbows, bringing this elbow to the mat, keeping my knees together. Finish the pass.
Does that sweep often go the other way at all?
No, almost never.
Were you grabbing the pant leg, or were you just putting an arm behind the leg? I couldn't see if you were grabbing the pant leg. Oh, okay.
I'm just controlling the sleeve still,
Right.
and the other hand's on the target. All right, let's get to it, guys. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm on.
So see how, because I'm curled up, you weren't really able to drag. Here's that, the drag works best when you can make the guy push. Right, so if I'm only curling up and you try to drag my leg, it's, you know, it's like it's pretty difficult. But like, let's say if we go back to DelaRiva and you feel that I'm like pushing on you a little bit, it's much easier to redirect it because I'm already giving you the feedback that you need. So if someone's just curling up, the leg drag, if you can do, that's why I said, like, if you feel like you can do it, but you might notice that because I'm trying to keep the elbow connection, I'm contracting rather than expanding.
It's like one of my favorite positions, like the time that I see that it's most effective is usually like when they either curl up, I can lift up the foot and they freak out and they try to push it back, and when they push it back.
Yeah. See, so what I would say if somebody was doing that is that they're doing the wrong thing. If you lift my foot up, I shouldn't be trying to push it down.
Yeah.
I should be doing this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So if what you're doing is right for what they're doing,
Yeah.
I would just tell them that they're doing something wrong. The reason it's so easy for you is they're giving you the feedback that you want rather than what they should.
They're trying to force it back on the
They're trying to right. They're trying to use force instead of use hip angle to recover. So that's why I think in this situation, I won't say don't do it because it won't work on the higher level. As you get it, go up when it's better. As you're trying to drag, which means you're pulling. So when you pull, I just give you that pull and I open up the space to regard. Your mission when you get me here is to keep me here. If you recede, there's a possibility that I start doing some crap like that. But if you stay on my leg, so let's go through a whole sequence. Yeah. So
here, yeah, down, and now like I'm here like this, just keep your shoulder buried in. Yeah, there we go. So now, if you want to move around a little bit to pass, see how easy that was? Right? No effort required because you pinned the lever to my hip. But if you go back to one of those or something, now if you come up and try to drag me,
Oh man, there's a ton of room there. I can immediately learn. Does that make sense?
You're keeping the shoulder tight. Would you ever try to do like a
Oh hell yeah, man! Yeah, that's the initial pass. Right? Like, when we came here, we ended up with you like this. No, you're keeping the grip. So let's keep kind of gripping here. You're getting your elbow to the mat, and you're putting your head, across here as you walk into. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same movement. Yeah.
and now watch what
Thank you.
Okay, so when we're kicking the leg away, it's important that we don't do something like this. Kick, and then try to sit up. Because if you're separating your kinetic chain, which I mentioned earlier, kinetic chain is where your muscles work together to create an effect. If you break your kinetic chain, you're using more muscle energy. I mentioned earlier about how if you're tired at the end of a round, it probably means you need to chill out. The other thing it probably means is that you spent a lot of time using disconnected movements. So this would be a disconnected movement. Leg press, sit up, crunch. Leg press, crunch. But if I use this leg as a pendulum, that's way easier. It's like if I want to do a sit-up, or I want to do a sit-up. It's way easier to just keep my body connected and move it in concert. So some of you are doing this, and then trying to sit up, whereas what you want to do is just if you keep that grip free, just like that. From here, we push away, we get to here, and I sit right up in strong base, keeping my foot really engaged, and then I can attack the rest of the sweep. So just make sure you're connecting that motion together.
And lever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But as long as I can shed the lever here, and have some control, now I'm not very much. The worm guard is much more dangerous here because the grip is just real set. It kills a lot of passes. So if you get this, now, like if I shed this, I can't do anything about this. But with the one that you're talking about, if we go back, if I shed the DelaRiva hook, yeah, I can just kind of hang it. And now your leg acts as the barrier, and I can just back out. So that would be the solution. But for worm guard, it's just inside the lapel. Inside the lapel. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what? This is combining with Leo shooting this seminar. See that? This is what Leo shoots here. Have wonders.
Yeah, but like, I'll show you the macro. Like, what the atomic versus
Just actions the reader.
That's why I like it so much. Is that denies me the ability to step on my feet.
Yeah.
Right, so I mean, like, that's exactly what he said. Like, if I want to try to double underpass you, right?
All my
If I go
bases
like this, see, I've done nothing about the end of the lever. I skipped to the joint, and the joint is flexible.
You gotta go deep.
But if I go end of the lever, now, see, he has to, if he wants to sit up, he has to let go. Yeah, and now I can get back here, and I can, it just resets the position.
You're giving them
Way better.
Exactly, because I know, like, so one of the, and I'll go over this a little more detail, one of the things that we break the movements down to is the range balance. Every time I bring a range balance, if I use range balance, I have to disengage. I lost, like, he got this grip, I didn't want that. I certainly didn't want this, and I for damn sure didn't want all three of them. So I just lost 3 range battles in a row. For me to be advancing into a pass right now, just I don't understand tactics at that point. It's like in the military.
Yeah.
If I lose a a skirmish, I don't advance my forces. Like,
Yeah.
if you've got a machine gun at the end of the
It's
street,
like high
I don't
level.
keep, yeah, I don't keep running my guys into the machine gun. Yeah, I gotta disengage and try to outflank you. So in this case, I'm lost, man. Like you beat me. I don't have an answer for that just yet. So I'm like, all right, I gotta disengage. Lever, back the fuck up, and now I can start my passing again. So until I reset the position, it's pointless to try to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I intuitively do that when I get tied up and I'm like, what the hell is this? Okay, elbows in, knees tight.
Sometimes it's nice to do the tanking where you just break all grips.
That's
Yeah, but you're too bunched up.
and then frame is like I'm always in the direction you're going.
Now you rotate this way. Turn the big steering wheel. Yeah. And just go to your side. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Nice. And then right the other way.
I have a question.
Send it to me.
And you're waiting enough time to pass it.
Like that.
Yeah. It's super slow, but it's supposed to be in HD. It took me like 3 days searching on the internet.
Nice.
I'm the master tire.
You alright? Do 108.
How's everybody feeling with this movement? Does anybody need a few more reps?
Cool. Give us 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I'll be good.
Sure.
Once I get him down.
Yes. Yeah.
And then.
Yes. Now get on your knees.
Extra jam and tenor.
Push more on his knee. You're kind of in the middle of the thigh. You want me at the end of the lever.
And you guys still have the...
Now, put your head. Ideally, you would put it like behind his arm before anything happens. Yeah, there we go. And now get to your knees. So you're just going to do like a technical stand-up, withdrawing your right knee. Exactly. And now you can pass to either direction. Sometimes you can even go right into mount.
Okay.
That's it. And try to keep live toes when you're
Right.
moving. Yeah, that's it.
And then.
Yep. And then cross-face pressure. Just don't lean too far over. Remember, if you cross the center line, your body weight's going to shift and they can actually roll you over, especially bigger guys do that all the time.
Thanks, Rob.